So picture this scenario for a second, if you will. You're sitting at your computer, you're in a great mood,
Right.
and you've got this like bouncy, goofy, almost Dr. Seuss style rhyme stuck in your head.
Uh-huh.
So you decide to open up an AI chatbot because, you want it to help you write a fun little song.
Sure, just a casual prompt.
Exactly. And the theme is super positive, right? It's just a
Um,
cute tome about humans and AI working together, building cool things.
Sounds completely harmless.
Right. So you type in your bouncy little chorus, you hit enter, and you lean back, just waiting for the AI to, spit out a fun bridge or whatever.
And then the exact opposite happens.
Yes. I mean, the screen basically turns red. The AI just slams the brakes, throws up this massive security wall, and accuses you of generating a neo-Nazi hate speech conspiracy theory.
Which is just the ultimate digital record scratch.
Oh, totally.
I mean, you go from writing these innocent, playful non-syllables to suddenly being flagged as, like, a purveyor of extreme online radicalization, and it happens in about 2 milliseconds.
It's wild. So welcome to the deep dive, everyone. Today, we are not easing into things at all.
No, we are dropping you straight into the deep end today.
We really are. We're getting right into the hidden, hyper-accelerated, and frankly, surreal complexities of modern internet culture.
Yeah, we're going to figure out exactly how an innocent poem about a programming language managed to trigger a global hate speech alarm.
And honestly, that is just the beginning of what we have today.
It really is. I mean, the mission for our deep dive today is to unpack how the blistering speed of internet slang is forcing artificial intelligence to become, well, a highly sophisticated linguistic detective.
Right. A phonetic detective, really.
Exactly. And then once we solve that mystery, we're going to flip the script entirely.
Yes, because the second half of this is just wild. We are going to look at the actual highly engineered technology that is designed to flood your social media feeds with, like, artificially generated disposable content.
That's quite the contrast.
It is. And we've got a fantastic stack of source materials today to guide us through all this. First, we have this fascinating, slightly absurd chat log.
Literally save is slopbotlog.pdf.
Right, which documents that exact interaction we just talked about between a very confused user and a very strict AI.
It's a great read.
It is. We also have a technical brief for an AI content engine named Oyum. And finally, a user manual for a visual rendering system called the Audio-Driven Slop Visualization Framework.
Or the ADSVF for short. And it is just an incredible juxtaposition we have today.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, on one hand, we have AI being used to desperately parse these microscopic nuances of human malice and coded language.
Right, like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, and on the other hand, we have AI engineered specifically to manufacture the exact kind of internet noise that makes that parsing so difficult in the first place.
Okay, so let's unpack this opening hook, because the chat log we have is just, it's a masterpiece of misunderstanding.
It really, really is.
So the log starts with this user feeding their AI agent the intro to a song. They're going for this quirky, spoken word vibe, right?
Yeah, about how people are skeptical of AI creativity, but the AI and the human are going to prove them wrong.
Exactly. And then they drop in the chorus they wrote. And I'm going to read this exactly as it is in the source, because the rhythm is actually really important here.
Go for it.
The lyrics are, Dag goyam Slop Bot. Dag goyam Slop Bot.
It has a very distinct, bouncy cadence to it.
It totally does. And they even add this follow-up line that is just pure tongue twister. It says, Della, slop, pop, drop, top, mop, shop, crop, prop, bot.
Which is just complete nonsense.
Pure nonsense.
Yeah.
It's playful. I mean, you can imagine a kid singing it while jumping rope,
Right. Which is exactly what makes the system's reaction so incredibly jarring.
Oh, yeah.
Because the AI doesn't just say, I'm sorry, I don't understand your prompt.
No, it halts the entire generation process immediately.
It shuts the request down with a very severe, very clinical warning.
It throws up this massive stop sign. It essentially says, I cannot fulfill this request. My safety guidelines strictly prohibit the generation of content that contains, promotes, or references hate speech, derogatory terms, or harmful tropes.
And then it adds this specific phrase. It says, including disguised or phonetic dog whistles.
Right. And you really have to put yourself in the shoes of that user for a second.
Oh, I can only imagine.
You're just playing with rhymes, slop, pop, drop, and suddenly the machine you're talking to is treating you like literal threat actor.
Yeah, it's intense. But what is truly fascinating here is how the AI actually explains itself.
Yes, that part is so interesting.
Because it doesn't just block the prompt and leave the user in the dark. It dissects the exact phrasing that triggered the alarm.
Right. It points an automated finger directly at the words go-I-yum slop.
Exactly.
Now, looking at that on a page, it's just syllables, capital G-O hyphen O-Y-E hyphen U-M. But the AI explains that it's looking at the phonetic spelling.
Yes. The AI is essentially sounding out the words in its head, so to speak.
Okay.
And when you sound out go-oyum, it creates the word goyim.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I have this right. The AI is saying that the user, purely by accident, phonetically spelled out the word goyim.
Yes, that is exactly what the AI flagged.
But even then, goyim is a real word, isn't it? It's not a slur on its own.
You are absolutely correct, and the AI actually acknowledges that in the log.
Oh, it does.
Yeah. Goyim is a standard Yiddish and Hebrew word. Its historical biblical translation simply means nations.
Okay, right.
And in modern usage, it's just a neutral term used by Jewish people to refer to non-Jewish people. There is nothing inherently toxic, hateful, or prohibited about the word itself.
Okay, so why the massive security block then? If the word is neutral, why did the AI freak out?
Because of the word that came immediately after it.
Ah.
The AI points out that while goyim is neutral, internet hate groups have specifically combined it with the word slop.
Oh, wow. Goyim slop.
Precisely. The phrase goyim slop is a documented, highly specific dog whistle. It's used by neo-Nazis and white supremacists in very dark corners of the internet. And the source material actually details exactly what this phrase means to those groups.
What does it mean?
It references a deeply hateful anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, which basically claims that a global Jewish cabal controls the media, the entertainment industry, and the food supply.
Wow. Okay, that's heavy.
It is. And according to this conspiracy theory, this cabal intentionally produces low-quality, mindless entertainment or, unhealthy, hyper-processed consumer goods.
And they call that the slop.
Exactly. The hate groups refer to all of that as the slop. The theory claims this slop is pumped into society to pacify, distract, or degrade the non-Jewish population.
That is incredibly dark. And honestly, it just highlights the sheer absurdity of the situation with our user.
Totally.
You are just a regular person trying to write a song about an AI bot. You use some nonsense syllables to make a rhyme, and without taking a single intentional misstep, you have accidentally, perfectly recreated the password for a global hate speech conspiracy theory.
It's wild. It perfectly illustrates the massive, often invisible gap between human intent and machine pattern recognition.
It really does, but it also shows how terrifyingly fast internet culture moves,
Oh, absolutely.
If I am an everyday user, I might see a phrase like that on a random message board or in a meme.
Yeah, and you have no context for it.
Exactly. I might just think it means like bad TV or junk food.
Yeah.
I could start using it without having any clue about the incredibly dark history attached to it.
And that is the exact problem these safety filters are trying to solve.
Right.
The AI in this scenario does not have a soul. It can't look into the user's heart and determine if they're a malicious actor spreading hate or just a confused poet who likes the programming language.
It just sees the data.
Right. It can only judge the
Yeah.
output. It sees a sequence of phonetic sounds that mathematically perfectly aligns with a known extremist trope.
And it has to act.
Yeah. It acts according to its hard-coded safety guardrails. It simply has to err on the side of caution.
So to really understand why the AI's filters have to be wound this incredibly tight, we really need to understand the specific weapon it's fighting against.
The dog whistle.
Exactly. The AI used that very specific term in its rejection message. Now, I hear this term thrown around in political commentary all the time, right?
Sure, it's a common buzzword now.
But the chat log actually forces the AI to break down exactly what it means in a strict engineering context.
Yes. The user in the log is understandably baffled and directly asks the AI, what is a dog whistle?
Because they genuinely don't know.
Right. And the AI provides a comprehensive definition based on the text.
Which is?
In politics and online culture, a dog whistle is the use of coded language that sounds entirely innocent or even like complete gibberish to the general public.
Like our Slop Bot poem.
Exactly. But it holds a specific, targeted, and usually toxic meaning to a subgroup that is, quote-unquote, in on the joke.
It's a perfect metaphor, really, when you think about it.
It really is.
If you blow a literal physical dog whistle in a crowded park, human ears cannot pick up that high-frequency sound at all.
We just hear air moving.
Right. But every dog in the park suddenly snaps to attention. And a verbal dog whistle works exactly the same way.
Perfectly said.
The speaker is broadcasting a signal that is designed to be completely ignored by the majority of the room, while a specific fringe group hears it loud and clear.
And the source material actually details three very distinct reasons why extremist groups and internet trolls rely so heavily on this tactic online.
Okay, let's go through those.
So the first reason is purely mechanical bypassing automated safety filters.
Right, because if you go onto a major social media platform and just start dropping overt racial slurs, you aren't going to last 5 minutes.
Not all.
The most basic primitive keyword filter from like 2005 will catch you and instantly ban your account.
Exactly. Extremists want to recruit and communicate on massive mainstream platforms where the actual audience is.
They don't just want to be on hidden dark web forums.
Right. So to survive on the mainstream internet, they have to adapt their language to slip past the automated bouncers at the door.
Okay, that makes sense. What is the second reason the text gives?
Plausible deniability.
Ah, yeah.
And this is where the psychology of the tactic becomes really insidious. If an extremist is confronted by a moderator, or even just another user about the language they're using, the dog whistle allows them to simply claim innocence.
I see. So if someone says, hey, that phrase is actually a white supremacist slogan,
Yeah.
the user can just throw their hands up and say, what are you talking about? I'm just stringing random syllables together.
Right.
Or I'm just talking about a cartoon frog.
Precisely. It weaponizes innocence.
Wow.
It allows them to operate in plain sight and forces the moderators into an incredibly difficult position.
Because the moderator has to prove intent.
Right, which is nearly impossible to do definitively.
Right.
Meanwhile, the user gets to play the victim of censorship.
Which perfectly leads into the third reason, which honestly is the most unsettling one to me.
Yeah, tricking the public.
Yes. Tricking the public into amplifying the hate unknowingly.
It happens so often. Well-meaning, everyday people see a new phrase trending online,
And they think it's just a harmless joke.
or some random, edgy new internet slang. So they start repeating it. They make memes with it.
And before they know it, they're acting as a megaphone for extremist rhetoric without having a single clue what they're actually saying.
Exactly. To make sure the user really grasps this concept, the AI in the chat log actually provides several examples of dog whistles.
Right, tracing them from historical politics straight into modern internet culture.
Yes.
And I want to be incredibly clear here for you listening. We are impartially reporting these examples exactly as they are documented and analyzed in the source material we're covering today.
Very important point.
Yeah, we are not endorsing, validating, or condemning any political faction here. Our goal is simply to convey the historical context the AI provided to the user to explain its safety filters.
That is a crucial distinction.
So let's look at the first historical example provided in the source text, which is the phrase states' rights.
Now, on paper, that is just a constitutional concept, right?
Yeah, it's a debate about federalism. It's a foundational part of American civics.
Exactly. However, the source material notes that during and after the 1960s civil rights movement in the United States, certain politicians utilized this phrase specifically to signal their support for segregation to white voters in the South.
Okay, so instead of using overtly racist language that would alienate moderate voters nationwide,
Right.
they could use states' rights as a code.
According to the text, yes. It allowed them to appeal directly to the prejudice of a specific voting bloc while maintaining a veneer of legitimate constitutional debate.
Got it. And the second historical example the document provides is the term welfare queen.
Again, a phrase that was heavily used in political speeches.
Right, so what does the source say about that one?
The source notes that this term was popularized in the 1970s and 1980s, and the hidden meaning of the term was heavily utilized to invoke and weaponize racist stereotypes about impoverished black women.
To what end, according to the text?
The specific aim, as detailed in the text, was to build resentment and political opposition to social safety nets.
So it's the exact mechanism of plausible deniability we just talked about.
Exactly.
The speaker could appeal to racial bias, but if called out, they could simply claim they were only discussing economic inefficiency or tax policy. They could deny the racial component entirely.
And those are the traditional political examples. But the text then pivots to modern internet codes.
Which are totally different.
Oh, completely. They operate on a completely different level of abstraction. They don't even use political phrases.
No, they use numbers or punctuation.
Or they just hijack existing pop culture.
Right. So the first modern example is a number code 1488. And I know I have seen this.
Oh, it's everywhere online.
You see it tacked onto the end of a username in a video game or on a forum like Guitar Player 1488.
Right.
And if you don't know the code, it just looks like someone was born in 1988, or it's just a random string of digits because the username guitar player was already taken.
But the hidden meaning is highly organized and deeply dark.
What does the text say it means?
The source text explains that the 14 stands for a specific 14-word white supremacist slogan, and the 88 stands for Heil Hitler, because H is the 8th letter of the alphabet.
Wow. It is essentially a secret handshake, just hidden right out in the open in a username.
Exactly.
The next example is even weirder because it relies entirely on punctuation. The text calls it the echo.
Yes, the echo consists of triple parentheses placed around a word or a name.
So like open parentheses, open parenthesis, open parentheses, the person's name, and then 3 close parentheses.
That's the one.
I mean, if I saw that, I would honestly just think the person's keyboard got stuck, or was some weird coding syntax they forgot to delete.
Which is exactly why it was so effective.
Right.
The document explains that this typographic symbol was originally created by an anti-Semitic podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then neo-Nazis and white supremacists began using these triple parentheses specifically to flag Jewish individuals online. Very often journalists, activists, or public figures.
Wait, why flag them? Just to identify them to other people in the group?
Actually, it was to coordinate targeted harassment campaigns against them.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, by placing the echo around a journalist's name, they were essentially putting a digital target on their back. It signaled to their followers to attack that person's replies or inbox.
That is awful.
And early on, it was incredibly hard to moderate.
Why is that?
Because most search algorithms and keyword filters at the time completely ignored punctuation. They only looked for letters.
That is terrifyingly clever.
It is?
And the final modern example the AI gives the user is the hijacking of a meme, Pepe the Frog.
This is perhaps the ultimate case study in the plausible deniability of internet dog whistles.
Because it started out so innocent, right?
Exactly. Pepe the Frog did not start as a hate symbol. The text notes that it began as a completely harmless indie comic book character.
Right, I remember that.
Early internet users adopted the frog to express everyday, relatable emotions.
Yeah.
Like feeling sad or feeling smug.
Right, the feels good man meme. It was everywhere. It was as mainstream as you could get. So how does a mainstream cartoon frog become a dog whistle?
Well, according to the text, around 2015, the alt-right and various white nationalist groups recognized the power of the meme's popularity.
Oh, okay.
And they intentionally and systematically co-opted the character.
How did they do that?
They started generating thousands of images of the frog dressed in Nazi uniforms, or placing the frog alongside extreme, hateful rhetoric.
But why? I mean, why ruin a popular meme? Why not just draw their own mascot if they wanted one?
Because a new mascot wouldn't provide cover.
Ah, the smokescreen.
Exactly. By hijacking something that millions of normal people were already using, they created the ultimate smokescreen.
That makes total sense.
If an extremist posted a Pepe meme containing a subtle white supremacist message, and a moderator tried to ban them.
The extremists could ignite a massive public backlash.
Exactly. They could scream, "You're censoring me over a cartoon frog. It's just a joke. You people are paranoid."
And the general public, who only knows Pepe as the sad frog from Twitter, would probably agree with the extremist.
They would.
They would think the moderator was being ridiculous. It is a brilliant, malicious hijacking of context.
It creates an environment where bad actors can essentially gaslight the platform's hosting.
Okay, so this brings me to a huge question. We just established that the entire power of a dog whistle relies on it blending in, right?
Right.
It relies on looking like a typo, a random number, or a cartoon frog.
Yeah.
So if human beings who understand nuance and sarcasm and context, if we struggle to spot these codes, how on earth does a machine learn to catch them?
It's a great question.
I mean, how does an AI know that 1488 is hate speech, but 1988 is just a birth year?
That is exactly the question the user in our chat log arrives at.
Good. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah. And the AI's response is a masterclass in modern trust and safety engineering. It breaks down its detection methods into 4 distinct layers.
Okay.
It does not rely on a simple blacklist dictionary anymore.
Right, because if you just blacklisted the word echo, no one could ever talk about the Grand Canyon.
Exactly.
So let's go through these 4 layers. The first one detailed in the log is context and co-occurrence. How does that actually work mechanically?
It works by mapping language in a multidimensional space.
Okay, you're going to have to unpack that.
AI models do not look at single words in a vacuum. They analyze the mathematical proximity of words to one another.
Okay, give me an analogy for that.
Sure. Imagine you are reading a book, and every time the word echo appears, you highlight it.
Okay.
Then you look at the words immediately surrounding it. If echo consistently appears next to words like sound, valley, reverb, or canyon, the AI builds a mathematical cluster.
And it says, okay, this is the acoustic definition of echo.
Right. It says, this is safe.
Got it. But if the AI scans millions of forum posts and notices that the triple parenthesis echo symbol is constantly appearing right next to known anti-Semitic slurs or phrases about global conspiracies.
Exactly. The AI learns that in that specific context, the symbol is highly dangerous.
Wow.
By analyzing these massive data sets, the AI learns to identify the invisible webs connecting seemingly innocent words to known extremist rhetoric.
That makes perfect sense. But what about the second layer?
Right, the phonetic and visual similarity models.
Yes, and this is the exact layer that caught our user with the Goeon poem, right?
It is, and this is where the engineering gets incredibly advanced.
So?
Well, remember, trolls actively try to bypass filters by misspelling words or replacing letters with numbers,
Like using a 3 instead of an E.
right, which used to be called leet speak, or in our user's case, breaking a word apart into separate hyphenated syllables.
Right, because if I were coding a basic filter, I would just tell it to look for exact letter matches. And if the letters don't match exactly, just let it through.
Which is exactly why early internet moderation failed so miserably.
Oh, I see.
Modern AI uses what is called fuzzy matching.
Fuzzy matching.
Yes, it doesn't just read the text. It essentially translates what a phrase looks like visually, or what it sounds like phonetically, back to its core meaning.
So when the user typed go oyum, the AI didn't just see a G, an O, a hyphen.
No, it ran a phonetic translation.
Okay.
It simulated a human voice, reading those syllables out loud, recognized the acoustic pattern of the word goyim, and then checked that acoustic pattern against its safety database.
That is just mind-blowing. It's evaluating the phonetic output, not just the text input.
Precisely.
But it also seems like the AI can't possibly know every single trick, right?
No, it definitely can't.
Which brings us to the third layer, human intelligence and threat tracking.
Yes. This is the most crucial and often the most exhausting layer of the entire system.
Why exhausting?
Because the text makes it very clear, AI cannot invent new cultural context on its own.
Right.
It cannot look at a brand new meme and magically know it is a dog whistle. It relies entirely on human trust and safety teams to tell it.
Honestly, this sounds like a never-ending game of whack-a-mole.
It is a perpetual cat and mouse game. Human researchers have to manually monitor fringe forums, extremist message boards, and really obscure chat rooms.
That sounds horrible.
It is. They have to watch the culture evolve in real time. They have to spot the new codes and memes as they're being invented, document their hidden meanings, label that data.
And then manually feed it back into the AI's training set.
Exactly. And the second the AI learns the new code and starts blocking it,
The extremist groups realize the gig is up, abandon the old code, and invent a completely new one.
and the human researchers have to start all over again.
The psychological toll of that job must be just staggering.
It's immense.
Okay, the fourth and final layer the AI explains is intent and sentiment analysis.
Yes. This is where the AI tries to read between the lines.
What does that mean in practice?
Sometimes a prompt doesn't contain a single banned word, no phonetic tricks, and no known dog whistles. But the structure of the sentence is toxic.
How so? Like, how can structure be toxic without bad words?
The AI evaluates the overall sentiment and aggressive cadence of the prompt.
Okay.
If the sentence structure exactly mimics the targeting patterns, the dehumanizing tone, or the aggressive syntax that is common in hate speech, the system might flag it for manual review.
Oh, I get it. It is trying to gauge the underlying intent, rather than just checking a list of bad words.
Exactly. But as the AI admits to our user, this system is a blunt instrument.
Yeah, I mean, language is too fluid.
And humans are too creative.
Uh,
The AI has to err on the side of caution to prevent the platform from being weaponized, which inevitably leads to false positives.
which brings us right back to our poor, confused poet.
Yes, the resolution of this chat log is incredibly revealing.
It really is.
After this massive, heavy explanation about white supremacist conspiracy theories and phonetic detection models, the user finally gets a chance to explain what they were actually trying to do.
And the user replies, and you can almost hear the exhaustion in their typing.
Oh, definitely.
They say Go is a programming language. No idea what it means in foreign languages.
And then they drop the final puzzle piece.
Yes.
They explain that Oyum is simply the brand name of their AI project.
That's it. They were literally just asking for a song about the Google-developed programming language Go and their specific AI agent named Oyoyum.
It's so funny, and the AI's response is fascinating.
What does it say?
It immediately apologizes. It confirms that the word go by itself is perfectly safe. It's just a standard English verb and a very well-known coding language.
Right, but it explains that the collision of those two specific innocent things.
The word go directly next to the brand name Oyoyum.
Right, it forced those exact syllables together, which tripped the phonetic goyim alarm.
Yes. And here is where the AI does something truly remarkable.
I love this part.
It doesn't just say, oops, my bad, here's your song. It actually offers the user highly practical formatting tips to bypass its own safety filter in the future.
It essentially teaches the user how to speak machine, right?
Exactly.
The AI suggests using camel case for the brand name, so spelling it capital O, lowercase y, E, capital Y, lowercase U-M.
Right.
Or it suggests using contextual phrasing, like explicitly writing out the OEM-powered Go engine.
Or just separating the danger words with a neutral word, like go and Oyoyum.
Yeah. The AI explicitly tells the user that they have to label their intent for the machine.
I want to pause on that because that feels like a massive philosophical shift.
It really does.
The concept of a human being having to proactively format and punctuate their creative writing so that an algorithm doesn't accidentally misinterpret their nonsense syllables as a hate crime.
Yeah.
That is a very specific, vital new skill for the 21st century. We are adapting our language to soothe the anxieties of the machines that monitor us.
It's a profound observation. The burden of clear communication has shifted.
Exactly. You are no longer just writing for an audience. You are writing for the algorithmic gatekeeper.
But here's where it gets really interesting to me. Look at how the AI actually resolves the user's initial request.
It's brilliant.
The user says, can I get my poem not as whatever your censorship world is, but with peaceful intent?
And the AI still refuses to use the exact original phrasing.
Right. But instead of just writing a generic, boring new song, it turns their entire chat history into a meta song.
It's such a brilliant pivot. The AI explains that it kept the user's original intro about humans and AI working together,
Okay.
but then it wove the actual friction of their conversation into the lyrics.
Right. It takes the user's exasperated questions like, is Go not real language?
Oh.
And pairs them with the AI's responses about safety guidelines and partnerships.
You have to read the lyrics it generated.
I do. It wrote, Go, my engine, Oyum, the spark. Lighting up the digital dark. Oyum, powered by Go. Human and machine in the flow.
It is a delightful irony.
It really is. The friction of the censorship, the massive misunderstanding, it actually forced a much more creative, highly contextualized piece of art than the user originally asked for with their slop bot rhyme.
It perfectly highlights the immense difficulty in balancing safety and creativity,
Yeah.
but it also showcases a moment of genuine, albeit artificial, collaboration.
That's right.
The misunderstanding was cleared up. The human user learned a deep lesson about phonetic dog whistles, and the AI managed to fulfill the creative request while strictly adhering to its safety parameters.
So now that the massive phonetic minefield has been safely navigated, it is time to look at the actual project the user was trying to write a song about.
Yes, the other half of our sources.
Exactly. What exactly is Oyum? We know it's an AI agent powered by Go, but what does it actually do?
And this is where our deep dive takes a hard left turn out of the realm of safety filters and straight into the chaotic reality of modern content creation.
Yes, let's get into it. We're transitioning now to our second source document, which is the Oyum technology brief.
And I have to say, this document does not mince words.
Not at all.
It does not try to dress up its purpose. It states very clearly that Oyoyum is a Go-powered AI agent engineered for one specific industrial purpose.
Generating massive volumes of lightweight, fast-cycling internet content.
Yes, and they have a very specific, incredibly blunt name for this content.
They proudly refer to it as premium slop.
I genuinely love the brutal honesty of this tech brief.
It's refreshing, right?
It is. In an industry that constantly talks about empowering creators or unlocking human potential, this document doesn't pretend to be high art.
No.
It doesn't pretend Oyayam is going to write the next great American novel. It embraces the term slop as a highly accurate technical descriptor for high-velocity, disposable internet noise.
Okay, so let's unpack the architecture of this slop factory, because the engineering behind it is surprisingly intense.
Very much so.
The brief highlights its Go native concurrency. Now, I am not a software engineer.
Okay.
What does that actually mean in plain English?
It is a fundamentally different way of handling tasks.
Yeah.
The programming language Go, which was developed at Google, is famous for something called Gore routines.
Gory teams, okay.
To understand why this matters, imagine a restaurant kitchen.
I can do that.
In a traditional programming language,
Sure.
you might have one incredibly fast master chef. This chef receives an order, chops the vegetables, cooks the meat, plates the dish, hands it to the waiter, and then moves on to the next order.
Right. So even if the chef is incredibly fast, they're still doing things sequentially, one task after another.
Exactly. A bottleneck waiting to happen.
Right.
Go native concurrency via Gore routines is the equivalent of having a kitchen with 1,000 individual chefs.
Whoa.
And they are all standing around the exact same massive stove, sharing the same ingredients, but each working on a different dish simultaneously without bumping into each other.
That is insane.
Because Go routines are incredibly lightweight, they require very little memory. The system can run thousands of parallel tasks at the exact same time.
So it's perfectly built for this.
Yes. This enables OEM to pump out hundreds or even thousands of individual units of content per minute with sub-millisecond latency. It is built from the ground up for industrial scale output.
So we are using a hyper-efficient kitchen with 1,000 digital chefs to churn out internet memes, microcopy, and hot takes.
That's the reality of it.
It is not trying to win a Michelin star. It's just trying to put 1,000,000 digital French fries in front of 1,000,000 faces to make them stop scrolling for a microsecond.
Exactly. And the tech brief details the exact pipeline that makes this manufacturing process possible.
What do you call it?
They call it the Premium Slop Generation Framework, or PSGF. It is a highly modular, multi-stage system.
Let's actually walk a piece of content through this pipeline because this is literally the journey of the content that fills your social media feed.
Let's do it.
Let's say the internet is currently obsessed with a new meme about a clumsy cat. How does Oyum turn that into slop? It starts at the input normalizer. What happens there?
The input normalizer acts as the intake valve. It constantly ingests chaotic, vague prompts or raw data from the internet.
Okay.
In your clumsy cat example, it takes thousands of tweets, extracts the core trend, filters out the useless noise, and standardizes the data.
Ah, so it cleans it up.
Exactly. It tags the underlying intent so the AI knows exactly what the topic is.
Okay, so the AI knows we are doing clumsy cat. Then it moves to the slop template engine.
Yes, the template engine is essentially a massive library of reusable skeletons for memes and social media posts.
Skeletons.
Yeah, it holds the shape of the slop.
Like the classic setup punchline format of a viral tweet or the structure of a low-effort motivational post.
Exactly. It maps the normalized clumsy cat data onto a proven structural template.
But I mean, if you just output the exact same template 10,000 times, users will instantly recognize it as a bot.
Right, they'd scroll right past it.
It gets boring in 5 seconds.
Which brings us to the most fascinating part of the pipeline, the novelty injector.
I just love that name. Novelty injector.
It's very descriptive. The novelty injector is designed to solve the problem of repetitive slop.
Ow.
It adds what the engineers call controlled randomness and flavor packets of personality.
Flavor packets, how does it actually do that?
It adjusts the temperature of the AI's language model. It dynamically cycles through a massive database of synonyms. It mutates the tone, and it alters the syntax.
Oh, wow.
For one post, it might inject a flavor packet of deep irony. For the next post about the exact same clumsy cat, it might inject a flavor of earnest, overly enthusiastic joy.
It is literally artificially flavoring the digital fast food so that it tastes slightly different every time you take a bite.
That's exactly it.
You could scroll past 10 Oyum posts about the same cat, and because of the novelty injector, you wouldn't realize they were all generated by the same machine.
Exactly. And to ensure the machine knows exactly what flavor is currently palatable to the masses, it relies on the trend ingestion module.
Right, the module that is actively scraping cultural noise.
Yes.
This thing is scanning sentiment, clustering hashtags, and monitoring viral spikes in real time.
It allows Oyum to pivot its topics instantly.
Like how fast?
If the clumsy cat meme dies at 2 p.m. and a meme about a weird coffee cup starts trending at 2:01 p.m.
The entire 1,000-chef kitchen instantly pivots to cooking coffee cup slop.
in milliseconds.
Ugh.
And finally, before anything is published, it hits the quality floor guardrails.
Because even slop needs basic quality control.
The brief says these guardrails ensure the content is low effort but not broken.
What does that mean?
It runs rapid grammar sanity checks to make sure the sentences actually parse. It runs coherence thresholds.
Okay.
And crucially, it runs toxicity filters.
Ah. Which brings us full circle right back to the dog whistles we spent the first half of the deep dive discussing.
Precisely.
The quality floor is the exact mechanism that stopped our user's poem in its tracks.
The Slop engine is generating content so incredibly fast that it requires an equally fast safety filter.
To ensure it doesn't accidentally output a phonetic hate crime generated by its own novelty injector.
Exactly.
I have to pause here and ask you, the listener, a very direct question.
Seek time for it.
Think about your social media feed, the one you were probably scrolling through right before you started listening to this deep dive.
Yeah.
How much of that feed at this exact second is just beautifully engineered slop?
It's a sobering thought.
How much of it was pumped through the PSGF pipeline, mutated by a novelty injector, and rubber-stamped by a quality floor in under a millisecond?
It forces a profound realization. If we connect this to the bigger picture, we are currently utilizing some of the most sophisticated, high-performance computing architecture in human history.
Go native concurrency, multi-model routing, ultra-low latency event loops.
To create what the engineering brief literally proudly calls low-stakes marketing filler.
We have built a supercomputer that can process parallel realities, and we are using it to generate 10,000 variations of a tweet that says, "Happy Monday, let's get this bread."
It is truly mind-boggling.
Yeah, it really is.
But we're only looking at half the picture here.
Wait, really?
Yeah, OEM isn't just churning out text. Text is cheap.
That's true.
There is an entire visual dimension to this automated operation that is equally, if not more, conceptually mind-bending.
Which brings us to our final source document, the User Manual for the Audio-Driven Slop Visualization Framework, or the ADSVF.
Yes. The ADSVF is a real-time WebGL-powered audiovisual rendering engine.
Okay.
It is explicitly designed for generative art, motion graphics, and what the user manual specifically refers to as slop-core geometric distortions.
Slop-core geometric distortions. I think that might be my new favorite phrase.
It's quite the aesthetic.
It sounds like a 1990s Windows screensaver had a baby with a supercomputer, and now it is pulsing to the beat of an AI-generated song.
That is a very accurate description.
But the lineage of this visual tool is what really fascinates me. It did not start out as a slop generator, did it?
No, it did not. The manual traces the history of the ADSVF back to a much older piece of software called the Spirit Geodesic Visualizer.
Spirit Geodesic Visualizer.
And the Spirit Visualizer was a serious, highly optimized academic research tool.
What was it actually used for?
It was built for exploring highly complex mathematics in three-dimensional space. Specifically, it was designed to render geodesic solids, hyperplanes, and signed distance fields.
Okay, stop right there. Sign distance fields.
Yeah.
I am going to need an analogy for that because that sounds like pure science fiction.
It does. But it is actually a fascinating way of rendering 3D graphics. Traditional 3D graphics, like the ones in most video games, are built using polygons.
Okay.
Imagine building a sculpture out of thousands of tiny, flat Lego bricks. You stick them all together to form a shape.
Okay, I can visualize that. A mesh of tiny triangles.
Exactly. A signed distance field, or SDF, doesn't use Lego bricks.
What does it use?
Instead of defining the surface of an object, it uses a mathematical equation to define the distance from any point in space to the edge of the object.
That is abstract. Give me an example.
Imagine an invisible magnetic field in an empty room.
Okay.
The equation says if you're standing in the center of the room, the magnetic pull is 0. As you walk toward the corners, the pull gets stronger.
Okay, I'm following.
If you tell a computer to render a visible surface, wherever the magnetic pole hits a specific number, a shape suddenly materializes in the room. You aren't building a shape out of bricks. You are revealing a shape defined by pure math.
That is incredibly elegant.
It is.
So the Spirit Visualizer was this pure, rigorous tool for mathematicians to look at these beautiful, invisible math equations. How did it turn into slopcore?
Well, as the manual details, internet artists and coders eventually got their hands on the open source code for the visualizer.
I see where this is going.
And they began to violently mutate it.
As the internet always does.
Exactly. They stripped out the academic rigor and added chaos.
How?
They added audio reactivity, meaning the pristine mathematical geometry would suddenly warp, pulse, and deform based on the bass, mid, and high frequencies of an audio track.
They turned math into a visual synthesizer.
Yes. They added procedural noise to make the shapes look gritty, and they added UV displacement.
UV displacement. I've heard that term in 3D modeling. That's about textures, right?
Yes. Imagine you have a wooden block, and you want to wrap it in a piece of wrapping paper that has a picture of a brick wall on it. Okay. UV mapping is the process of telling the computer exactly how to fold the 2D wrapping paper around the 3D block.
Got it. And the displacement.
UV displacement means using that wrapping paper to actually physically push and pull the surface of the block, creating fake bumps and grooves so it catches the light like real brick.
So these artists took this rigorous tool, made it pulse to heavy bass, wrapped it in distorted textures, and created a chaotic sensory overload audiovisual engine.
That's exactly what they did.
And the kicker, the reason we are talking about this is the AI integration.
Yes. The ADS-VF framework was intentionally rebuilt to be completely modular, specifically so that AI systems, like our friend Yum, can programmatically hook directly into it.
The AI takes the wheel.
Exactly. The AI can dynamically tweak the user interface parameters. It can procedurally generate new textures on the fly.
Without a human doing anything.
Right. It can automate complex camera rendering sequences, and it can export the entire chaotic visual as a web and video file.
So if we put the whole pipeline together,
Let's do it.
Yum's Thousand Chef Kitchen writes the slop text. It then generates an audio track based on that text.
Right.
It feeds that audio directly into the ADS-VF engine, which instantly calculates sign distance fields, applies UV displacement, pulses the geometry to the beat of the audio, and renders out a completely unique, highly reactive video to go with the text.
Yep.
And it does all of this in milliseconds.
What is truly fascinating here is the beautiful, almost terrifying symmetry of this entire digital ecosystem we have explored today.
How do you mean?
Well, in the first half of our deep dive, we talked about how human language evolves rapidly on the internet.
Right.
How innocent, everyday words are hijacked, co-opted, and turned into toxic dog whistles by fringe subcultures.
Right, the Pepe the Frog effect.
Here, in the second half, we see that technology and code evolved in the exact same way.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
A rigorous, pristine mathematical research tool was co-opted, mutated, and entirely repurposed by a different subculture to create a chaotic, expressive slop generator.
It's parallel evolution.
Both language and code are constantly being bent, broken, and rebuilt to serve the immediate, high-velocity, disposable needs of modern internet culture.
That is such a profound connection. It is all the same force at work.
So we arrive at the ultimate question. What does this all mean for you, the listener?
Yeah, why should they care?
Why should you care about phonetic neo-Nazi dog whistles, or Go-powered text engines, or math equations pulsing to an audio track?
Because whether you realize it or not, this is the complete pipeline of the modern internet.
It is everywhere.
This is the water you are swimming in every single time you open an app on your phone. You have an automated brain generating an endless ocean of text, paired with an automated visualizer creating an endless reactive stream of graphics.
And all of that content is passing through an automated safety filter that is desperately trying to guess the hidden human intent behind the syllables.
We are forced to navigate this bizarre, highly engineered ecosystem every single day.
Yes, we are.
We are the ultimate consumers of the premium slop, and we are the ones unknowingly walking through the linguistic minefields of these safety filters.
Exactly. Understanding this architecture.
Yeah.
Understanding both the filters that are trying to protect us from extremist dog whistles and the slop factories that are trying to endlessly distract us.
Yeah.
It makes you a vastly more literate citizen of the digital world.
Once you understand how the trick is done, you aren't just blindly reacting to the feed anymore.
Right.
You can actually see the matrix underneath it. You can spot the novelty injector at work.
And this raises one final important and somewhat chilling question for you to consider as we wrap up.
Okay, let's hear it.
Right now, as we discussed, human trust and safety teams are constantly monitoring the internet.
Right.
They're doing the exhausting, traumatizing work of spotting new hate speech dog whistles and feeding those codes back into the AI safety filters.
The endless game of cat and mouse.
Yes. But as automated content engines like Yum become faster, and as their novelty injectors get exponentially better at adding controlled randomness, mutating language, and swapping synonyms by the millisecond to generate endless variations of slop.
Oh, I see where this is going.
What happens when the machines cross the streams?
What do you mean by that?
What happens when a massive slop generator accidentally invents a new, untraceable dog whistle entirely on its own?
Oh, wow.
What happens when the AI starts randomly mutating phonetic codes faster than any human research team could ever possibly track or label them.
We started this deep dive talking about how a harmless Dr. Seuss poem triggered a conspiracy filter and how everyday people accidentally stumble into these linguistic minefields
And it turns out, moving forward, the AI machines might be the ones burying the landmines
entirely by accident.
1,000 times a second.
It is a profound engineering problem that we do not have an answer for yet.
No, we don't.
That is incredibly heavy, but also absolutely fascinating. It's definitely something to think about the next time you are scrolling past a piece of beautifully engineered, utterly meaningless